You're not here, you missing out. Cause this show. Welcome to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry. I'm with Nicole from Down for the Count. And today we are with a Latina who loves wrestling.
Yes.
Someone, if you on YouTube, you might see her giving predictions at Squishstradamus. Her name is Maddy from Top Rope Squishy. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. My first question I always ask is, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
I actually started watching wrestling when I was a kid. It was a family event in my house. WWE was a must. And when it would come on, everything would stop. And I literally started watching it, I think, when I can walk, up until 10 years ago. And then it just started getting kind of boring for me. It was a lot of talking, not enough action. And I was really into Raw at the time. And then I just stopped watching it. And then last year, my nephew, who's about 27 years old, he was like, you should check out AEW. I don't know what the hell AEW was. I hadn't watched any wrestling for 10 years. But as soon as I watched it, I was hooked. And it was a female fight that I actually saw first, which was Chris Statlander. And I was pretty impressed because I was used to seeing women not really be able to wrestle. Like they were more like eye candy back in the days. Now you see women really getting in the ring. So
okay, let's go to back in the days. Who were some of your favorite people watching back in the days?
So I loved Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock. I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, but he did some stuff that turned me off. So yeah, I lost my love of Hulk Hogan. Also Benoit, Kurt Angle, China, Jericho, Edge. I mean, I was in there. Like I really loved it.
You just named everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Literally.
My favorite was Undertaker. Absolutely loved Undertaker.
Shout out Undertaker and Snoop Dogg for their new clothing collaboration that just came out.
Did not know about that.
I
gotta look into that.
I don't know, people. I don't know. It's on WWE Shop until December 3rd, what they said. But Maddy, let's see. We got you here because I seen you on Twitter. I've been on you watching for a while. You said AEW got you back into wrestling, and you've been doing predictions and everything. How did you get involved in that?
So I used to do the predictions, which actually turned into my recap show now, just a regular thing. And my husband, who's my production guy, he was like, why don't we do a gimmick, something cool? Because I like to act. So he was like, let's just create a character. So this is actually his whole creation. He created my gear. He's an artist and a photographer, so he does all of that. And he just went to Michael's one day, came back with a shitload of stuff, all these lights and all this stuff. And he set up this whole little thing. He said, why don't you become like this person that just predicts things, like with this ball? It's literally the ball I use. It's like a light lamp. It's just a moon lamp. But it became a thing, and people actually seem to like the character. So I just kept it going.
Hey, that's great. Your husband and they're pulling for you. Nicole, jump in this with
So obviously you're talking about how you were. So did you not watch any wrestling at all for 10 years, or was it like something you just didn't watch, like WWE? Because I know there was a point in time where I stopped watching WWE because like I was just like not a fan of like the whole diva stuff. And there was like quite a few things that were considered monumental that I didn't watch Like I didn't see any of CM Punk stuff and a lot of that stuff. But I was still into wrestling. I was watching mostly Ring of Honor. I was keeping up with the indies within my state or area and in Cleveland. And so I just want to know, was it something like you just quit cold turkey, or you're like, I'm just not watching anything mainstream. I'm just like going to shows here and there and whatnot.
It just kind of slowly happened where we were catching it every week. And then one week it just didn't happen. And then before I knew it, I just wasn't watching it anymore. I lost total interest. I just stopped. And then one of my favorite wrestlers, The Rock, he was doing movies. So I just stopped. Like I just was like, he wasn't really wrestling. It just died out slowly.
Yeah.
And I saw nothing for 10 years, nothing, not indies, not on YouTube, nowhere, nothing. Yeah. Literally starting from scratch again, which has been a lot of fun.
And I didn't, and just to piggyback a little bit off of that, like I didn't start watching like the main roster again until like 3 years ago, actually like 2 years ago. When I started watching WWE again, it was literally strictly NXT.
Nice.
So, and then I was like, yeah, so that's usually especially if you're used to getting back with AEW, I recommend NXT. I specifically recommend NXT UK. Because I think that's more on par a little bit with some of the stuff that's, that you'd be familiar with in AEW. But what I always tell people, I was like, dude, you just find what you like. So now that you're like sort of getting back in, is there any like promotions that you really want to start getting into but you don't know yet, or like any like stuff you want to catch up on, or what do you want? So what kind of also do you want to start dipping your toes into?
Definitely would love to find some kind of involvement with Mission Pro Wrestling. I want to somehow catch up on all the matches that I missed because like in the indies, there seems to be just so many amazing wrestlers. And so there's a lot of wrestlers that are in AEW which I watched that came from the indies. And it kind of sucks when someone's like, oh, did you see that match that they had? And I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I definitely want to like go backwards and do some catching up. But as far as like future involvement, I wouldn't mind getting involved in Mission Pro Wrestling and somehow, some way in AEW. Wouldn't mind being a ref, which is something that I kind of like been thinking about too. Yes, Trey.
Well, he's also making that look because of me, because I'm a ref. I went to wrestling school, but I didn't get to have ref my first match or anything because it was right. And then a little bit afterwards, COVID happened. So my friend Jess was trying to get me to be able to ref some super small show that was happening Mania weekend. And I was like, I don't know if I want that pressure, but yeah, I highly recommend it. Especially because I'm older. I'm 31 now, so I was like, I would love to be an actual wrestler, but I'm being realistic, and I know my body. I was like, I can't do that to my body, and I was like, and just live my life. I'd be in a wheelchair, so I was like. But I was like, I always wanted to get in the ring somehow, and I eventually want to, do more within the business itself. And I was a ref. Like, it sucks because especially if you go to like a decent school, like they train you like how they train like the new recruits who sign up. So you learn how to take bumps, you learn how to run the ropes, you know how to do arm drags, how to lock up, like all of like
that stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That really is awesome. Is this something that you're planning to pick back up once this COVID crap settles?
Eventually. I mean, there's some other things I also want to try to dip my toes in within the industry, but I do want to be able to ref a couple matches too, because I don't know, I eventually want to be someone's manager. But so I recommend, because you said you're in the New York area, right?
I'm in New Jersey, but I'm right
New
next to
Jersey?
right next to New York. Yeah.
So you have a lot like there's Hog, and I know we're cool with a few people at Hog, I think. And also it's like they have so many different connections and avenues, but I think you should go for it.
I definitely want to go for it. I'm the same boat as you. You know, I'm 38. I'm about to be 39. So taking bumps and stuff right now at this age is more like breaking a hip.
Yeah.
Busting my knee. So realistically, I'm way too old to start wrestling right now. And I personally do not like getting hit in the face. So
we can put you in touch with the people. We can put you in touch with the people.
Do it. Hook me up. Yes.
All right. We don't see.
Yes. Nicole, that's awesome though. You made my day. Yay.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, so what, and then also, so do you have any long-term goals with your channel and what you're doing, or is it something that you're just taking day by day?
Kind of have like some loose goals where my husband's like, you have to make them more firm. But I do want to eventually have a podcast where I am interviewing wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I gave myself 2021 is when I'll start reaching out. I have to, you know, I want to take it anywhere that it can go. I definitely want to do like skits to show off, you know, my acting. So more of that. Hopefully there'll be another character besides Squishtradamus coming up.
Yeah.
You know, we're thinking about doing little commercials, you know, that will involve the merch that I'm creating. Well, my husband's creating. I can't take any credit for that. And to advertise it, you know, just trying to find a way to make this a career and not just something I do as a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Completely understand. I'm in that same boat.
How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, I have my podcast. Well, it's not mine. I have it with 3 other people now, but we're gonna hit 2 years in August, late August. We're gonna hit 2 years. Nice. And then after a while, and then we just got together for We Love Wrestling, pretty much.
What about you?
But
it's straight falling asleep.
No, I was just thinking, you know, well, I've been loving wrestling my whole life. So, you know what I'm saying? This We Love Wrestling thing started in June. I mean, it started by chance. We was just in the Facebook group talking wrestling every week like we usually do, called it We Love Wrestling Weekly in the group. And things happened, and I kind of got thrown in on one, which I didn't plan, and now we all the way here. So, you know.
Who was your first interview? Do you remember?
It was either Savannah Evans was the first one that we dropped. I don't know if we did her first or Prolific first, but it was one of those two officially under the brand is starting to do this right here with everybody else. Because the motto is, I say the motto at the end, so you know it's a new thing. And you said you wanted to interview people, so we gonna get you to start interviewing people with us to get your feet warmed up, because everybody here loves wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is. I always tell people, it doesn't matter what production company or who you follow, there's something for everyone.
And y'all know how I say F a company. I don't follow companies.
You follow wrestlers.
Yeah.
I love saying fucking company.
Hey, you know, that's what we about. Yay.
Ain't nobody over there paying me.
Facts. Random.
Oh.
Rock or Stone Cold?
Stone Cold. He's more dirty. He's more dirty. Although I do love The Rock. But Stone Cold, when Stone Cold came out, those beer cans. Pretty impressive, dude.
I love Stone Cold. I have was it on our TikTok or something? Or is on my Instagram too. But what?
It's on your Instagram.
It's on my it's on my Instagram. It's on Down for the Counts in Instagram too. But I dressed up as Stone Cold for Halloween this year. So my friend had a small get together, and I like did the beers and everything. I got a T-shirt out of it though.
That's so cool. I
Who
didn't
gave
like.
you a T-shirt?
I can't think of their names, but it's this upstart. It's like this. These two black dudes. They do like wrestle. They're like doing wrestling T-shirts, old school wrestling T-shirts, but as like old variant games like Sega and Nintendo games cover art.
Send me my T-shirt. Yeah. I reposted it. Shit. I want a T-shirt too.
Well, because they reached out and because a few people were commented on it, and he was like, "Is this a black girl? I can't tell by the lighting." He said, "Is it?" He's like, "If it is, I'm gonna send her a T-shirt." I said, "I'm blackity black."
I'm a black dude. She said Stone Cold. Like we always say on these, there's no wrong answer. We just want to see where people head at, how they feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I'm gonna ask this. Since a year ago, around this time, AEW came up, and your 27-year-old nephew got you back into it. A year ago this date, I watched AEW here in Indianapolis live at a show. So let me ask you, in your time of watching AEW, what has been your favorite match that has happened?
Oh, so I actually have two.
Okay.
So I can't recall where exactly this took place. I believe it was a pay-per-view event. It was Moxley versus Omega. And it was brutal. I know they were fighting with everything they can find. They were throwing each other through tables, and they were using barbed wire. It was a very long match, but that was one of my favorite matches.
Full Gear.
Full Gear. There you go. And then more recently, it was Thunder versus Shida.
Mm.
That was an amazing match, and that was actually the first match that I saw Thunder in. And I started researching her that night. And it was like, I've been hooked ever since.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa.
For sure.
That's my husband did my makeup for Halloween, and I was Thunder Rosa.
Shout out to Halloween Thunder Rosa makeup.
Yay.
Time to put you on the spot before we get up out of here. We got two more. This is my last question before we go to the last segment. How do you feel about AEW's women's division?
I think it needs help. I do love what they're trying to do. I mean, obviously I don't know what they're doing in the background, but from what I can see as a fan, it looks like they're trying, but they definitely need help. They need to put more matches on TV. They need to give them more exposure, and the matches need to be longer than 2 minutes. So, but I absolutely, and I say that with love because I feel about AEW, but I'm not, trying to cover the sun with a finger. Everybody knows that the women's division needs help.
Yes.
I'm about to be one of those fans. I just asked the question.
Oh no. We got my podcast, specifically Alexis and I were getting just slaughtered because we were like some of the first people to be like, yo, no, their women's division needs some help. It's awful. Like we need and then people are like, you guys are hating and blah blah, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're like, you're WWE fans, and we're like, we're everybody fans.
Well, now you can say you had a hardcore AEW person who said they need help.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, it's just facts. It's just facts. I do like, the women wrestlers that they have, but they don't expose them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you love them, but it's like just give them some time to shine.
Yeah, like where are they? I mean, Britt Baker and Big Swole pretty much held the women's division together with their promos. because
Yeah.
there weren't really any matches happening, and Hikaru Shida barely defended her belt. So yeah, I'm giving it some time since they're brand new.
Yeah.
I have hope. I have hope that it will
Y'all
improve.
in the Facebook group or one of the conversations that I gave back in May. I told AEW what to do with their women's division. They started for 2 weeks, and I don't know. But we're on a track, so we're gonna see what they do.
Let's see.
Um,
I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful, but I can only go with what they gonna show. So we gonna see what they gonna show.
Right.
Nicole, you got anything before we get out of here?
I'm just really excited to see your channel grow and see what more you can do and what you can accomplish, and working with us over here at We Love Wrestling and just all of the stuff in the future.
I'm excited.
So I'm excited for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm also excited.
Now,
Uh-oh.
this is called our put yourself over moment. This is where you let us know your social media, your Instagram, your Twitter, anything that people can do to support you, just what you got going on. You put yourself over.
All right. Well, I'm brand spanking new again to wrestling, and I do have a Twitter though that I'm pretty active on, so you can follow me on Twitter at Top Rope Squishy, and I have a YouTube channel where I do recaps and predictions. To grow, it will grow from here, brand new, but it's also Top Rope Squishy on YouTube. So please subscribe, drop me a comment. Thank you.
Maddy, tell them about the shirt. You got the shirt.
Oh, yes, I have merch. So my husband created merch, and it's for the character Squishtradamus. I have T-shirts and I have hoodies. So I don't know. I guess I should show it. So this is pretty much it. Squishtradamus. That's the ball that I use. But yeah, it's a great creation. There's about 3 or 4 more designs coming that my husband's working on. So I'll be releasing that with a link on my Twitter and YouTube. So please stay tuned.
That's what you do when we say put yourself over. She just did it.
You have to.
Yes,
That's what we want.
Appreciate it.
Nicole, new thing I'm gonna do now. We got to plug our social media that we want the people to follow. Anything you want the people to follow you on? Nicole?
No, I'm trying to find out my, I don't ever remember my handles. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so you can, I never remember my handle. So you can follow us on Instagram at Down for the Count. So it's D4TC_podcast. And on Twitter, we're mostly active. You can find us at Down, number 4, the Count 19. And then also you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts at Down for the Count.
Nice.
You can follow me on Instagram at WeLUV Wrestling. Don't worry about my personal handle. If you own the Apple, Google, Spotify, WeLUV Wrestling, I actually give my personal handles and everything. It doesn't get everything that comes on YouTube. They get different spotlights. I think it got 9 on there. But we like to thank Top Rope Squishy Maddy for joining us.
And her magic ball.
Yes.
And the magic ball.
And the magic ball.
We might incorporate some skits with Squishtradamus or something. You never know what
can
happen.
do that. I can come in full gear. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
The code Down for the Count. And I'm Terry. And as I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet. for the culture.